What is the toughest challenge you've ever faced? Could be in training, a mission, a loss, an injury, personal adversity, and how did you overcome it? And I've gone through a fucking shit ton of them.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
I get a bunch of Nick Cheque questions on here too. And I've had a whole bunch, dude. I think one of the ones that sets at me the most is losing Nick Cheque. I don't know if that was just a time in my life or if it was a scenario, just how it got unveiled. Maybe just who he was. I used to use Nick as an example of why I could train as much as we trained. And that'll go on to another question here, but because it's always the point of contention. Mm-hmm. Like, you spend so much time at fucking work, you spend so much time training, so much time just thinking about it. Like, dude, I'd sit on the fucking couch with a little, God, I'm sounding like a fucking weirdo. I'd sit on this couch with a dry erase board and I would draw CQB sketches for hours, just doodling. 2-man, 4-man, 6, 8, stairwell doubles. I just doodle all fucking day, just everything. Angles and distance, just all kinds of shit. I just constantly thinking about it. It would drive my wife fucking crazy, dude. Crazy.
Obsessed.
Yeah. Like, I'd sit in the fucking mirror and she'd hear me. I'd be clear garment for fucking 5 minutes. I'm gonna brush my teeth, just ripping fucking draw strips just over and over. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. And she didn't get it. And I was like, I have to do every fucking ounce of this to be on par. Every fucking bit of this I have to. Mm-hmm. Like, it ain't coming naturally. And that's what I told her. I was like, the level is so fucking high that if you don't do this shit, you either don't give a fuck or you think you're better than you are. Because every motherfucker in there is nasty. And I was like, if I want to separate myself, I have to do more. And I used Nick as the example. I'm like, do you see the amount of fucking time that he's gone? Like, it was before I came to command. Mm-hmm. It's like, that's what it is. Like, they're training all fucking day. If you have to be that good. And when that dude got fucking killed, fuck, man. I remember sitting at Yard House in Town Center. I remember the booth we were sitting at. I remember what my wife ordered. I remember the phone call. I remember it all. I remember getting the news and walking back in there and trying to keep my shit together. I could feel my fingertips sweating. Like, just every ounce of me. Like, I mean, she must have felt it. Like, I was just inside. I was hemorrhaging. Fuck me. And I knew I just had to get through that dinner. I just need to get through this dinner. Like, 30 minutes. I'll close this fucker out. I'm going to put my uncles back in our house and I'll go off to work and I'll deal with this and I won't have to say it. And I remember just trying to fucking stare between those two. Like, my one uncle was an Army Ranger, and he was Secret Service, counter sniper team. He's still active. I got my other uncle, Infantry Marine, both super funny, but like locked on. Like, they know exactly, they know the deal.
Right.
And I'm staring in between them, and I can feel my face heating up. I can feel my eyes watering. I can feel my mouth getting real fucking dry. And I can feel her staring at me. And it's like, if I don't look over, I'll be able to get through this. If I don't look over, I'll be okay. And she did something. She put her hand on my shoulder. And she said, tell me. And as soon as she said it, it came out of my fucking mouth.
Oh.
Nick's dead. And as soon as I said it, I just
let go.
It was like a convulsion, but nothing came out. It was like I was dry heaving at the table. It felt like I was going to fucking shock. Fuck. Got through that meal. Got in my truck, drove the command. Everybody's there. People are getting on airplanes. They're flying out there. I had to do the notification back here. He had a living girlfriend, his fiance. Mm-hmm. Had to go fucking tell her. And I remember running downstairs to my cage and just going through everything, trying to find dress blue uniform, like, oh my fucking God, like I don't have any of my shit together. And then I remember thinking in my mind how much we hated doing that. Like Nick specifically. And I remember conversations. He's like, don't show up my fucking house in dress blues. You better show up just like that. Like drinking a fucking beer, spitting Copenhagen outside. Like don't show up here in that shit and freak everybody out. And I remember that sitting on his front porch. Like, this is not what the fuck he wants, dude. This is not what he wants to do. Obviously, I got through all that shit. And then coming back, you know, as the story kind of unfolded and you found out exactly what happened to him. And that was probably the hardest thing, is to come back and have to lie to my wife about why he got killed. Because it wasn't that he wasn't training. It wasn't he was with a bunch of fucking retards. So now what's your excuse? It wasn't the helo. It wasn't the helo pilot. It's not like some fucking idiots flying a bird that shouldn't have been and crashed it.
Right.
Fuck. Like, wasn't like his gun malfunction. Wasn't like he was out of currency and he died fucking skydiving. Like, at the top of his game. Explain it to me. And you couldn't. You just had to sit there. Like, she's... What is that? Dude, she was like 4 or 5 months pregnant. Having to go through all that. And I'm not going to say it's poor me, some fucking pity party, but it was probably harder on me than most. Because my wife had already been through it.
Yeah.
So people don't know the pressure. You know, it's a dangerous fucking job and shit happens and people do get killed, and that's why they get paid the big bucks. That's why you get the fancy patch and the cool fucking pen. It's because it's dangerous. But when you've already been through it, and now you have to just lie to them in the fucking face, like, it's not going to happen to me, it's not going to happen to me, this is why, you know, we train, we do this, we do that, and you had no excuse now. Like the extortion thing, everybody threw every excuse in the book. It was the pilots, 100% alum, it was this, it was that, it wasn't their fucking mission, they got forced to come in because they were trying to help out somebody else. We just stacked up excuses, every fucking one we could muster. That's why that won't happen to me. Well, now what? Like,
Yeah.
oh, fuck. Like, now you just don't have one. And you still have to keep going back. And I think, you know, the self-doubt of fuck, dude, if he got killed,
Yeah.
the chance of me getting killed, yeah, pretty fucking high. Like, it's not like you can be better. Right? It's not like he was pouring at a C-average fucking level. I mean, he was a superstar. Like, well, then you just chalk it up to, when it's your time, it's your time. Well, wives don't believe in that. And wives don't want to fucking hear that. And nobody else does either. You kind of just internalize it. But I think coming back from that one was probably the hardest. Because everything that happened after that, that was really it. Like the pressure of not getting killed, the pressure of not letting anybody down, the pressure of, you know, creating a lasting legacy or whatever the fuck you want to do. But it was at a thin fucking air, man. Like when that dude died, it was never in a million years. Out of everybody we knew, I never would imagine he'd get killed. Never. No matter what circumstance. Like, he's not dying. And when he did, it was like, that was my shot of reality. Like, that was the dude next to me. Motherfucker. Like, went to Buds together, did our first platoon together, like, lived a mile down the road from me. You know. The motherfucker used to borrow my dog. Come over to my house and borrow my dog for the weekend. Just take him home. He'd send pictures and shit, like on the couch watching TV. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, just one of the best dudes on earth.
Yeah.
And then to try to come back after it, it was never the same. It's never been the same. It's not that I fell out of love with it, but there was definitely an asterisk next to everything that happened after that. And that was probably it, knowing the reality. Because everything else that had happened up until my life, I could justify it with that person either wasn't a pro, didn't train, or there was an external factor. You got shot out of a fucking helo. Like, you can't fucking help that. Like,
Yeah.
you can't. Like, sometimes that weird shit just happens. You couldn't justify this one. You're like, oh, it's a dangerous mission. Yeah, no shit. It's like, well, all we do are missions like that. Fuck.
Is something like that ground you? Like, having someone in your team get killed in action, it kind of grounds you. Because I would just from the outside looking in, it looks like a lot of the guys. There's not really a lot of SEALs getting killed in combat and gunfights, more so, especially like with at his unit.
Yeah. You mean like the unit get grounded for a little bit, like a safety stand down?
Well, no, I mean like it grounds you as a person. Like,
oh yeah.
we're not invincible. It reminds you that, hey, I could get killed too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. I mean it. Because everybody knows, young, in shape dude, fucking hungry. You check the 7-meter range, like his name's on it, like he trains. His CQB is fucking flawless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, shit. Like, yep, just one more reality check. Like, this shit is real. They are shooting real bullets.
Yeah.
Angles and distance do matter. And house of rescue is a dangerous thing. Yeah, that was definitely personal adversity. That was the initial start. I mean, I've had probably 10 over the course of my life of like holy fuck moments, and that one,
Mm-hmm.
that one's hard to think about. Like I don't think I've ever felt a loss like that. And that fucking sucked. We had to do a thing, a guy from Team 8 called me, they're doing book reports on guys, and they're doing one on Nick Cheque, and he called me Friday actually. He's like, hey, can you tell me some Nick stories? And I told him a couple. And just... fuck. I haven't been back to Arlington since.
Yeah.
I had people send me pictures and shit, updates. He'll do like Christmas wreaths or whatever, and like I can't go back, dude. Fuck. What a good motherfucker, man. Personal adversity, that's probably, as far as loss, it's probably it.
Top.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'd like it if you visit.
Hmm?
I'm sure he'd like it if you visit.
God damn, man. Motherfucker. Yeah, I miss that dude. Okay, well, this will go into it. John wants to know, DJ, I remember the Sean Ryan interview, you said when you passed Green Team, you went exactly where you wanted to go. What is about Red Squadron that you wanted to go there in particular? Was it the guys you knew, you worked with across? Was it parts of the culture, the ethos? You know, what really made you want to go there? The history and the personality. I mean, knock on wood, they haven't lost a dude since 2002 in combat.
Yeah.
And that is not by fucking accident. That is because they are obsessed. I mean, like you don't do it for that long without losing a guy. I mean,
Yeah.
Like it is. Luck has a lot to do with it, but I mean, it does not hurt the fact that they are fucking obsessed. Like that standard in that place is fucking high, dude. And you see it. You hear it in the conversations. Conversations are very, very different. I mean, we got friends all over the place, and they're very different. And the conversations we had around the team room table are very different than what everybody else was talking about. Some of the most philosophical shit that I have ever heard. Jordan Peterson would have a fucking heart on if he listened to one fucking conversation there. He would. Like, if Kobe could teleport in that fucking team room for 1 hour, he'd never leave. Michael Jordan, same fucking way. Like, when you hear the way they talk about it, it is very different than everybody else on Earth. It just is. Like, I have never looked forward to going to a job as much as I did going to that place. Every fucking, even the times you fucking hated it. When there was some cocksucker breathing on everybody's neck, like get a fucking haircut and shave, there's this happening, that, like, it didn't fucking matter. It didn't matter. Like, looking back on it, it was so different. Like the mindset was so different. The culture was different. Everything was different. You had little individual pockets, but together as one, like you would just see them. Like it was cool to see, man. Like they'd all start to emulate, like, 3 or 4 dudes, and they would just, 4 would go to 6, 6 would go to 8, 12. Now there's 14 dudes in that troop, and they're like the same mannerisms. They dip the same cope in it, like everything. It's like they're little brothers. It's fucking weird, dude.
Cohesion.
Yep. But then once they all come together, it's like, okay, it's a completely different fucking party. But yeah, I mean, I knew guys that went over there before, guys that were at Team 10, but all the dudes that I had ever worked with weren't there. They all went to blue. Silver. I mean, I wanted to go to red as soon as I found out what fucking Damn Neck was. And you think it's funny, growing up with the dad as in the teams, I didn't know what Damn Neck was. I had never heard SEAL Team 6, ever. I'd never heard that said, ever.
Even from your dad or
Never.
coworkers?
Never. You heard Damn Neck, you heard Dev Group. Never heard that. Never. I mean, somebody said it in like mid-2007. I was like, I felt like such a fucking idiot because I read the books like everybody else. I thought it was decommissioned. I didn't fucking know. Right? Like, huh? Yeah, it's weird. But I had a couple dudes that were at Team 10 that made it over, and they were larger than life, dude. Like, they were the most intimidating motherfuckers I have ever met in my whole life. And we were in Kentucky doing a trip. And we were there at Team 10, and those guys were there doing a breaching trip at the same time. We were staying at the same hotel. And I remember 2 or 3 of us, we were in the elevator going down, and they were coming in, and the elevator doors open, and there were 2 of them standing there. And it was, I mean, I don't know, dude. It was like growing up playing fucking hockey, and Gretzky walks past you, and you're like, what the fuck? I mean, this dude, 6'2", 6'3", 240, shaved head, but he had a black beanie on, and he had this fucking beard, dude. Like, triple fucking handful. The dude next to him had shoulder-length hair that was pulled back coming out of a fucking baseball hat. I mean, it was a full-on fucking ponytail. You're like, what in the fuck? Like, they looked like professional football, but they were so big. And I know it didn't help because I was small. I was probably, I was 20 years old. So, I mean, I was 180 pounds, and these motherfuckers looked like they could literally eat me. I was like, that is the fucking coolest thing I've ever seen in my whole life. You go out in town, and you're drinking a beer, and you start to know guys more. You go out and start to see who's who in the zoo, and you just see them. And anytime you talk to them, it's just the shit they are talking about is so fucking different from everybody else. Right. Like, everybody else is talking about drinking, fighting, fucking, and these dudes, it's like a mindset install. Anytime you get around them, it's like, fuck me. Like, how the fuck can I come over and be next to you? And when we were in me and Cole were still a team, we did our 3rd workup. We were getting ready to deploy, and we had like an exchange. And we had guys that were in that platoon that were friends with some dudes at the command, and they got to do a link up. Mm-hmm. So team leaders got to sit down with team leaders, breachers with breachers, snipes with snipes, do the whole integration. And it was with Red. And dude, I am fucking telling you, I'm surprised I didn't lift the table off. My dick has never been so hard in my whole life. Like, I walked in that fucking team room, dude, and it was like Fergie and Jesus were singing to me. It was fucking hollow ground. I walked in, Neil Roberts fucking saws on the wall, and I'm like, holy fuck. Like, I am in it. I am in the fucking Death Star right now. Like, I am in the TP right now. And I could just feel it, dude. I was just absorbing it. I was like, this is all the fuck I want. Like, I mean, I said, you take my fucking trident and throw that fucker out the window, dude. Just give me that patch. That's all the fuck I want. That is it. This is all I ever wanted to do. And they did not disappoint, dude.
And you wanted Red.
That's all I wanted. I mean, like, it's gonna sound. I would have been really disappointed if I would have went anywhere else. And that was the issue. Is Red had. I'd have to talk to Rob O'Neill because he's the one that drafted me, but I know they had to get very creative with how they got me. Like, Red I was either ranked too high or they had last pick So they had fourth in a draft, and I was in, whatever. They had to do some very creative structuring to get me.
Probably traded like 5 guys for you.
They got me. I didn't give a shit, dude. When they read off those fucking names, dude, oh my God. I remember it like it was fucking yesterday. We were sitting in this big ass fucking classroom. We were getting ready to do an FMP. We were going to do a jump in, the full fucking profile. My hip is still broken. I haven't said shit to anybody. And I'm all fucked up. I'm taking 1,600 milligram Motrins back to back. And we're sitting there, and we think that they're going to tell us in August. This is like November. October, November. So we're already blown past it.
Right.
Because the class before us, they told them where they were going when they were at jump phase. You're like, okay, it's coming, it's coming. Every Friday, we'd be like, oh, here we go. And, we're texting back of the command. We're like, hey, is the draft going down? And they'd write us back, our buddies. And we're like, no. He's like, they haven't even passed your shit around yet. I'm like, what? I was like, nah, they're fucking with us. It's like, it's coming, it's coming.
Right.
Never came. And then randomly, you hear the draft is going on. Like, you talk to your buddies like, hey, dude. People fuck with you, but then they're serious too. He's like, hey, we had an issue. What's the issue? We got 4th pick. And like, this squadron really, really wants you. I'm like, well, don't fucking let me go there. Like, don't do that. Like,
Right.
like it'd be fucking weird, man. Like, it'd be no different than you're in high school, right? You move away for a year or 2 years, you're coming back, and your mom puts you in the rival fucking high school. You're like, no. Everybody I know is over here. Like, I have to go there.
Yeah.
She's like, no. We bought a house on the side of the train track. You're going to this one. I'm like, no, motherfucker.
You don't
We're going to
understand.
commute. You don't understand.
Yeah.
Like, I have to go. So it was weird, man. It was fucking dicey. And they're so fucking funny. So they read off a list of names. They don't say anything. At the very end, they say a color. That's it. So you don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, blah, 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 blah. Blue. And you're like, oh, okay. Blah, blah, blah. You don't know what order they're going. You're like, oh. You're like, oh, fuck me, Christ.
It's like a lottery.
Uh-huh. Yeah, dude. But I remember they called out my name, followed by a bunch of other ones. And they said red. And, like, I can feel my hand shaking. I was like, oh, my fucking God. Just keep it together. Keep it together.
Be cool.
Be cool. It's fine. They're like, okay, we'll see you on the... We were going to meet in the high bay in like 40 minutes and fucking jock it up. And as soon as he said ready, break, as soon as he said it, I went, yes! I fucking screamed. I was like, fucking Christ, thank you, Jesus! And the whole fucking cadre started laughing their asses off, except for all the cadre who weren't at red. They were so fucking mad.
Because they wanted you.
Well, either that or because I would have been so disappointed if I went anywhere else. But I was overt, man. Like, they were asking you, because it's like a shit-talking thing. When you're going through... I mean, you'd be like day one, like you just want to get through this motherfucker, like that is it. And we were in like the first week of green team, and one of the cadres not from red, it's like, Shipley, what squad do you want to go to? I said, red squad and 3 troop. And his eyes got real big. He's like, oh, look at this arrogant motherfucker. And I said, hey, you asked. Like, I'm being honest. Like, I'm just being honest. And that was Nisro's team, Rob O'Neill. Like, that's where the fuck I want to go. Like, put me in that team. Nick Cheque was in that team. Like, all my buddies were in that team. Like, that's where the fuck I want to go.
All your friends were there.
That is where I want to go. Like, you asked, that's where I went, and that is where the fuck I went to. Like, in that 5-man team, dude. And that was cool, because when we were in jump phase, Red was out there at the same time doing a workup. And we went out to the Trident, local bar, we all booze at. I walk in, and Cheese is in that team too. Cheese at the front door with Rob, and I'm getting ready to walk in. And it's funny, he's smoking a fucking cigarette. He's smoking a cigarette and he looks at me and he goes, hey, I hope you suck at jumping. And I looked at him and I was like, I don't. And he went, well, you might not come to red then. I was like, I'll Z out every fucking exit if I have to. Like, you just let me know. Like, I'll do a downwind landing tomorrow. Like, I'll totally fuck myself up. And he said, don't do that. He's like, but it's going to be tight. Fucking make it happen, dude. Oh. Yeah, I mean, the rest is history, but yeah, something about just the culture, the heritage, just everything about it, dude.
It's different between the squadrons?
Yeah.
Like different kind of
Oh, yeah. And I mean...
attitude, culture.
Yeah. Attitude and culture are very different. Like, your capabilities are the exact same. Like,
Right.
It's not like this one team, like, all they do is mountain shit. Like, it's identical. And performance is the same. It's just the culture is very different. Like, I mean, they're nasty. Like, they are. Like, it's not like gold sucks or some shit. Like, they're all fucking nasty. It's just personality-wise, like, it's really where the fuck I wanted to go. And I'm so glad, dude. Because, you know, obviously I'm biased, but knowing what I know now, if I would have went anywhere else, I would have been pissed. I just would have. Like, I feel like I would have been looking across the hall the whole fucking time.
No.
But, yeah.
Cool.
Very glad where I ended up, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Changed me for the better for sure. I fucking love that tribe shit. Oh, here's a good one. Colt wants to know, what's the most overlooked part in prep/planning for a mission in garrison and in the deployed environment? Homework. Setting with intel, talking to the guys who are already over, you're about to do a turnover with, and really get a lay of the land, exactly what they're running into, which way the fucking doors open, what are they made out of, what are they using for hinges, see any weird locking mechanisms, like how's the ambient noise in the valley, just all that shit, everything, like how the dog situation.
Logistics.
Yeah, all that shit, yeah. Not tactics, logistics.
Yep.
Like, what are you guys doing to calculate ACLs? Like, what's the altitude? Because not altitude changes, but a lot of it changes based on heat. It's like if it's summertime deployment, even though it's night, dude, it's 105 out there. Like, you burn more fuel. It's like, well, it's all that kind of shit. What kind of a loom set are they on? Because all that shit matters too. And then there are a couple things, and everybody has them. Not passed down items, but kind of like the UBL shit, right? There are like select places all over the fucking world that are in constant rotation for you might hit this. Right, some are big, some are super complex, some is out in the middle of fucking nowhere you could take down with 5 guys. It's just waiting for the approvals, waiting for all the stars to align for you to go on this. And that's really where I saw the level up, is there weren't many guys playing Call of Duty. Like, we did movie time, we did shit like that, but in, I'd say, almost 80% of all the hooches, there was a flat screen TV with ISR feed on it 24/7, 365. And all you were doing was looking at whatever you're going to do that night. Or if it was a legacy task, you clicked on it, you just watched it. I watched where their kids play soccer. I watched where they take a piss. I watched where they flick their cigarette butts on their nightly walk. I watch where their fucking dogs go, where they don't go. I watch where they fucking pin up the goats, how often they check on them. Everything. Everything you do, I watch. What neighbors do you actually go to? Like, where do you park your motorcycle? All of it. Every bit of it. So by the time you get there, it's like, I know it. The only thing I don't know is what it looks like at this level.
Right.
I know what it looks like from this level, and it does look different on the ground, but at least I know atmospherics. Like, I know in the last 16 days, no one, not a single fucking person has gone to the northwest corner. Nobody. Haven't even gone near it. Why is that? 16 fucking days? Nobody? The dogs don't even go over there. Well, gotta figure that out.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can avoid a lot of issues like that just doing homework, but I feel like it connects you so much to what you're actually doing, like just being in the moment, being in the craft. And when you watch high level fucking people do it, I mean, SWAT team guys do the same thing. They just watch the same house, the same person multiple times. Just, like, they're so in tune with it, you can kind of predict the future, right? Like, you're getting infilled and you're supposed to be on target at 12:45. You're like, well, hey, dude, this dude's got insomnia. Like, he comes out between 12:45 and 1 a.m. every fucking night. Well, then it comes to, well, how often? Every night. Every night for the last 8 nights he's come outside. Right. You guys want to just snatch this fucking dude up? Like, we've done that multiple times. Sit right by the front gate, like he's going to walk out of the gate in the next 15 minutes. I guarantee it. Opens up that gate and whoop!
Creature of habit.
Don't even have to fire a fucking shot. Just fucking leave. Like, that's what we came for. Let's go. Right. Quick SSC, nobody even wakes up, you just leave. Like, that's a lot better than getting into a fucking 10-hour gunfight. It's like just a little bit of homework on the backside, a little bit of the obsession. And we talked about it. It's like, nobody wants to fucking do that. Like, I want to go watch fucking 10 hours of Game of Thrones too. But when I wake up, like, I've got a view window of, 3-4 hours. So you just go sit in a jock with a couple cups of coffee, bullshitting with the Intel guys, like, send it to me. You read all the gisting, everything you're getting, you're watching it on TV, and you just studying, man, just doing homework. Staring at his photos. Like, I used to print them out and we'd put them on our desktops or wherever in the jock and just be everywhere. You just see them. Like, I'm better than most at, like, facial recognition.
Yeah.
I'm pretty fucking good. But that's what I do. I just fucking stare at them. Everything. Every fucking detail we had, if we had a photo, I just stare at it all fucking day. So that way when I see it, I know. It's not always the most sexy thing to do. But it showed a big difference. Like, I never saw anybody do that when I was at Team 10. Not like that. Like, it was just, oh, these motherfuckers are doing this shit professionally. Like, okay. And not that we didn't. We were going through Iraq with 10, but the mindset was just very different. It was very reactionary. It's like, yep, know the target, just send it. Like, your downtime was full downtime. Here, it was like, you're only over here for a couple months. There is no downtime. Your downtime is in the gym. Outside of that, like, we're just studying. We're just getting ready. Mm-hmm. And it made it feel so much safer. Because everybody was so fucking switched on. And you'd watch it. Like, exactly where he said he was going to go, it's exactly where he went. Because it's not like you've looked at this piece of paper for 15 minutes on a helo flight over and you're like, I'm going to northeast corner. Yep, okay.
Some last minute stuff, basically.
But I mean, that's what it was. Like, for a lot of it, because you were hitting him so often, and not to make excuses for back in the day, but we could have put a fucking ISR, we could have watched that. We didn't have anybody tell us. Nobody with that amount of experience ever came back and was like, yo, my man, you want a cheat code? Shit can Tony Hawk Pro Skater and put the fucking ISR feed up and watch these motherfuckers all night long. Like, okay. Right? Like, it doesn't take much. Just that little bit of experience getting passed down with a little bit of context, a little bit of the why. Like, do this, here's why. Shit. I could have been doing this whole fucking time. And me and Cole talk about that all the time. The amount of people you could have killed if you would have had a little more information, it's hard to fathom, right? Like, you could have been so much more effective. And then in the reverse, the gunfights that you got into in the early days, you didn't fucking have to. Mm-hmm. Like, you could have avoided that like goddamn plague. Like that shit when that dude fucking shot me in the chest plate. I didn't have to go fucking do that. They had a fucking ISR fucking staring at him. Just nobody relayed it. Like, he was up there for fucking 2 hours. Like, you could have just told us.
It would have been helpful.
Yeah. Just a bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, you just don't know. I think that's why we harp so much, like, just fucking share that information, dude. Like, you got a pearl of wisdom in your pocket? Let me fucking see it, dude. Like, tell me. Mm-hmm. They're not going to know. If you think people are just going to eventually get there, yeah, they might after the course of 15 years. Like, just imagine if they were operating, like, they have 15 years of experience at year 5. It's like, that's the goal. It's like, speed up the progression, but still make them hit every wicket. What's the meaning behind your tattoos? I got a bunch, dude. I started my foot in 2005. We'll have to have to take some pictures of it. Mm-hmm. But after Red Wings happened, like, these are all like the muscles in all the muscle and bones in my forearm. It kind of goes down my rib, my thigh, all the way down to my foot. But I started it in Germany right after Red Wings. Kind of just like you peeled off the skin, just showed the bones underneath. Yeah. I did that whole thing, and I guess the concept at the time was every time somebody dies, a little piece of me is going to die. It's going to remove another layer. And it kind of just kept fucking going. Mm-hmm. I've got a couple memorial pieces for some guys, but I've got a bunch I got to get, and I'm trying to avoid it. I'm trying not to get any more. But I mean, I have to. Get some more I got to get. Mm-hmm. Just, I mean, it's rough. You got to sit there and, your kids will ask you questions and, like, what's that guy's name? Or what's that mean? What's that mean? Like, shit. Like, I've got all the guys. I've got a gold crest about yay big on the side of my hip with everybody's call sign. I got killed in extortion. Dude, my kids ask me about that all the time. I'm like, it's this. Guys on the inside are like, just, it's not that you don't want to remember. It's like, it sucks. It sucks.
Any one of them in particular that kind of tops it off? As a memorial tattoo, or do you want to share? I mean, you ain't got it, but
I got that one after Nick and Shady got killed. So I have to do a close up, but
yeah,
it's a red man with cross tomahawks on it. Yeah, I got that after them. I think I probably stare at that one more than any of them.
yeah.
Yeah, trip down memory lane. But, yeah, I mean, tattoos tell a story.
I do.
I mean, Cole's got a shit ton of them. Just, yeah. What's your guys' opinion on David Goggins? I think Joe Rogan fucking threw out some shit today. You see that?
Mm-mm.
He said, "Why do Navy SEALs hate David Goggins?"
Oh,
That was the title of Joe Rogan's clip. Jesus.
does he get a bad rap
Yeah.
from other team guys?
Yeah. I think it's just where people are at in their careers. I mean, I'm sure I did the same fucking thing. Threw shade at him when he was doing like the ultra marathon shit, or like he was doing Ironmans. You know, he was essentially a spokesperson for the Navy. And I think dudes resented that because I had to be the quiet professional, can't tell me what the fuck we do. But, well, I'll tell you one thing that pissed off a lot of fucking dudes. And I don't know Dave at all. I met him a singular fucking time when I was going through SQT. He was already at one of the West Coast teams, and I remember him in the fucking gym doing pull-ups. I remember it specifically. Like, he was bigger back then. Like, Jack, like, that's a big fucking black dude. And he is doing because I can do a fuck ton of pull-ups. I was like, that dude is fucking sending it. Like, he was doing sets of 30 or 40. Like, that isn't very often. Like, I know people say that shit, like, I can do 30 pull-ups. No, you fucking can't. Like, there aren't too many people on this planet who can do 30 perfect pull-ups. That big motherfucker was cranking them. Like, damn. Like, it's impressive to watch. So I remember him from that. And then I remember he was like on like the Navy like running team or triathlon team or some shit. He was like a fucking model. Like Mitch Hall did it. A bunch of guys did it. But I know it pissed a bunch of dudes off. They called it like dress up. They let him grow a fucking beard. And he was like doing like cosplay shit. Like OTBs, taking photos, and it pissed a bunch of fucking people off. They're like, fuck you. Like, I can't grow a fucking beard? And you let him grow a fucking beard, take a photo? Because you want people to think you let us look like that? It was back when they weren't letting anybody have a beard. Like, so you want us to look like how we want to look, but you won't fucking let us, but you'll let him? Fuck you, dude. So I know dudes throw a bunch of shade, like, you know, you weren't a real Navy SEAL. Like, no, he was. And I don't give a fuck that David Goggins was Navy SEAL or not. I think he says what's on his mind. I don't think he holds shit back. I respect him for that. And I think he's motivating a shit ton of people to get off your fat ass and go move. Mm-hmm. So I appreciate that. And he does it, man. He logs those fucking miles, dude, every day. And I like him even more when he says that he hates running. Good, at least you're honest. Because to me, a dude who loves running, like when you see a dude who can send it, and he's like, there's nothing more, my runner's high, my runner's high. I've logged a fuck ton of miles in my life, and I have never felt that high you're speaking of. I'm still waiting for it. Running sucks. Like, it's not fun. And the fact that he doesn't like it and he does it anyway, I can respect that. But he looks the part. He does the whole thing. Like, I don't throw shit at David Goggins. Fuck good for him. I hope he makes a shit ton of money. Hopefully he is. But yeah, and for the guys that throw him shade, especially guys in the teams, that's just where they're at in their career. Like, Tulane said that shit the other day. Or a thing I watched. It's like, you know, the people that throw shade at me from like the Green Beret community, that's just where you're at. Like, you're active right now. I'm out. You don't like what the fuck I'm doing because you can't do it.
Right.
And you think that I'm stealing all the clout from you. I'm not. And I thought he said it a pretty good job. He goes, I'm trying to make people want to be you. You can't do it, so I am. If you don't like the way I'm doing it, you can't make everybody happy. And it's like, does he put out good information? Does he look the part? Does he make you want to be a Green Beret? I'd say yeah. I mean, he tells motherfuckers you have to train, talks about the physical component, fighting condition you're in, being in shape, beating people's fucking ass. Like, yeah, that's exactly what the fuck you talking about. Like, if you don't like his delivery method, well, I promise you, when you transition out of the military, it ain't gonna be that fucking easy either. So until you've done it, like the experience thing, you ain't never transitioned out of the military, motherfucker. You never transitioned out of a fucking SWAT team or a fire department or wherever else. You've never done a transition. You graduated high school and have been doing this your whole fucking life. I was the same way. I did the same shit. I was like, fucking dudes who write books, fuck you. Guys who do movies, fuck you. Oh, you do a TV show consultant? Fuck you. I had the same thing. Until you transition, you're like, what the fuck else is he gonna do?
I gotta do something.
You got to get a fucking job, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't like this shit. Like, that's why I had my fucking face blurred. I don't want to do this shit. I had to do that.
Yeah.
So I get it. And I get the shade that people throw, and I'll just say it. Until you've done it, you really don't have an opinion in mind.
And
my point of view.
Assuming it's something that you guys experienced when you got out, started Tribeskate, started GBRS.
Oh, dude, you would not believe the amount of shit we caught for opening a fucking skateboard company. These fucking Navy SEALs are trying to open up a skateboard company. They're going to try to make money out. Oh, my God. First of all, dick, I ain't never been paid from that fucking company, ever. To this day. Not a singular dollar. Nothing. Done nothing but write checks to the fucking company. Like, I did that so I wouldn't shoot my fucking self. So, fuck you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just goes back to it, like, when people throw shade at whoever else, like, is that dude really giving the brand a bad name? If he is, then fuck him. If he's not, then it's probably not a bad thing. Does he make people want to do that same job you're doing? If the answer is yes, it's probably a good thing. He's probably a better recruiter than anybody out there, right? And that's kind of the way I look at it. Just the stage they're at. Like, you got to throw shade. I know fucking cops do the same shit. They see a guy that did 20 years on a SWAT team, gets out and opens up a SWAT CQB school. They throw him shade. Oh, who the fuck does this guy think he is? It's the same thing, dude.
Because they can't do it yet.
Yeah. Yep. Like, you can't do it yet, but I promise you when you get out, you're going to emulate that dude because you're going to try to figure out how to monetize everything in your head, and you can't.
Yeah.
Like, Home Depot's not going to pay you $100,000 a year to tell war stories. It's not going to happen. What the fuck else are you going to do? Either that or you're going to turn over and be a new guy at something. What are you going to do? You have to learn a trade.
Jobs like yours, cops, special operations, it feels like it's, if you don't make a drastic change, a turn to like something completely different, like say you're an assaulter, right? And you get out and you're like, you know what? Like, hold it. I'm going to sell houses. Like, some people are just...
People fucking threw him shade, too.
Oh, they did?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What, Navy still selling houses?
Like, anything they can. Like, if you become successful after transition, people naturally throw you shade until they realize they need to leverage your ability to help them transition. Then they all come back around. So it's weird. Oh, yeah, people threw him shit. But
for you in particular, I was saying, it's like, all you know for, 17 years is CQB. Like, you just can't, like, all right, tomorrow I'm going to learn how to mow the lawn. Work for True Green or whatever. You know what I mean? So you naturally, the inclination is to do what you know.
Yeah, I mean, when I got out...
And that's what those guys are.
I taught CQB for the Air Force. I taught jump courses. That's what I did. And what the fuck else you want me to do? Like, I didn't know. Like, until we started this thing, that was the plan. I was just going to teach until I was old enough to finally just hang it up and then just have no retirement and live paycheck to paycheck. Like, that's the goal. Like, that's not much of a goal.
No.
Like, who the fuck wants to do that? Yeah, I mean, it is. Like, it's very hard. I mean, shit, we got one of the guys from the UK flying in town just to talk about the transition because there's nobody over there to help him through it.
Yeah.
Like, there's a shit ton of jobs out there like, hey, you were this, that, and the other thing. I've got a shit ton of jobs for you. You got to go back to school.
Yeah.
It's very hard to take all these things and bottle up and put it in something that's not doing it again. It's easy to retire out of the military and start contracting, or retire out of the military and do law enforcement.
Be a cop, yeah.
You can do that. But if you don't do that, base of the last 20 years of your life aren't, and people say dumb shit to me all the time, like, whoa, your leadership experience. It doesn't fucking translate. I'm fucking telling you. You got 30 employees. It doesn't translate. Nothing. All the military dudes in here, none of the shit that comes out of their mouth any of you fucking dudes understand.
Yep.
And you can't talk to people like that. Like, do you know what happens when you walk in there to HR and you're like, hey, your fucking cunty attitude in the middle of that fucking meeting is not going to happen. I'm going to throw you out of a fucking window. You can't say that.
You can't tell that to HR mostly.
No, you can't. But we've definitely said that. So I am telling you, for all the people out there trying to make a transition, you can't say that. You really shouldn't use the word cunt. That'll get you in a lot of trouble. And I'm not talking in reference to women. I throw out that word to dudes mostly,
Yep.
but you can't say that shit. Luckily, we employ a bunch of people that we know, so we can kind of get away with it now. But it's a rough transition because in the military, you just say it.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I need help. Oh, not right now. Or here's a good one. Hey, will you help me move these boxes? That's not my department. Get your fucking ass over here and grab this goddamn box. Like, that's the military.
Yep.
Like, I need help. Yep. And that's what I tell guys. If you are a cop, a fucking fireman, a fucking dude in the military, whoever else, you haven't heard the word no since you've been doing that job. Unless you're asking for something like you really want to do and the head shit just tells you no. Outside of that, if it's assistance you require, the answer is always yes. It just is. Most of you guys have been living on an adult island. There's no children around you.
Yep.
Everybody's 20 and above. And for the most part, they're all fucking professional. Even if they're idiots, they're still a pro at whatever the fuck they're doing. It's like, hey, I need help. And they just do it. When you go to civilian world, it ain't like that. You come over there like, hey, will you help me dump out the trash real quick? They'll look right at you like, no, it's not my job.
The fuck?
Or you better grab that fucking trash bag. It's crazy. So
Yep.
people say all this shit like, oh, your leadership will. No, it won't. No, it won't. Not unless you go to some real professional coaching to figure out how to blend those two together. That's what we struggle with.
Did that cultural difference? What was your reaction to that when you first experienced it? Like,
I disbelief.
right?
Disbelief. Like, I don't know how to address it. Like, I've never heard anything like it. Like, that isn't my job. It's like talking to my 9-year-old. Like, hey, clean up your room. I didn't make that mess. My sister did. I'm going to say it one more time. Clean your fucking room. I don't get it.
Right.
But that's what people deal with. I mean, you talk to Marcus Capone. Ask that dude about going to Naval Academy. Culture shock. No, dude.
Yeah, I heard his podcast.
Yeah, dude.
Sean Ryan's. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, he was very gentle in his delivery on
He was.
what happened there. Yeah. That's what it is. Like, you are not used to that. You are not used to having someone tell you no and then being a dick about it. You're like, what? Because you just help everybody. When you're in the military, you just pick that shit up and you just help. And when people don't do that in return, it really pisses you off. So, I mean, that's a big thing you got to navigate, man. And it is not easy to do.
Oh.
Yeah. What are some of the biggest things that hold people back on improving in CQB? Ego and experience? Or the one that nobody wants to talk about, comfortability with a weapon system in your hand. I feel like people look at CQB too rigid. It has to be this all the time. It must be this. It must be that. And to a certain extent, I mean, there's some hard, fast rules in CQB that absolutely have to be adhered to. But a lot of the real world CQB, like the actual CQB, is so unconventional. And I feel like you're limited to your imagination. And a lot of times your imagination is skewed because you don't have the flexibility and the comfortability to be creative. The only thing you know is this. The only thing you know is low ready. Nope, Sarge said low ready. Nope, low ready. Yeah, my man, I know, but you need to be able to do a high ready because you don't know. Nope, Sarge said low ready. We do points of domination. That's not a fucking thing. Like, I understand that you think that that's a thing. It's not a thing. You're entering from a room, going to another corner. You can call it points of domination if you want to. That's where everybody ends up anyway. If it makes sense to go down the long wall to clear something, everybody goes there.
Mm-hmm.
Just arbitrarily running to the opposite end of the fucking room doesn't afford you anything. I'm not getting the fucking tactics. You can do whatever you want to, but I feel like so many people run around and it looks like they have a 4x4 in their hand, vice a carbine, and they look awkward. They hold it by the magazine well.
Yeah.
It's like their neck won't rotate over, and they look like, I mean, you look like a fucking amateur. And the issue is you're an amateur in a professional sport, because everything is life or death.
Yeah.
When you're grown men pointing fucking firearms at each other, it's fucking dangerous, dude. It's like, that's what, and you expect people, I'm going to call it the law enforcement guys now because it's not their fault, it's the system's fault. You're asking guys to do a super dangerous thing with no training.
Scary.
It is, dude. Like, you let those guys shoot on a flat range once a month. For some of these fucking cops, once a year, twice a year, they do
Once
a qual.
a year. Yeah.
Like, bro, you can't be good at anything like that. You can't be good at driving a car like that.
Outside of training yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you have to train yourself. But they don't. Because they don't make enough money to pay for all the expensive ass ammo.
Mm-hmm.
Department doesn't have enough. Now what? Like, you're not helping them, dude. You're giving them an impossible task.
Yeah.
That's why, like, when you go out and we do these SOP or these TTP reviews and guys want to talk CQB, he's like, yeah, we want to do, night vision CQB. What kind of night vision you have? He's like, oh, we got 2 monos we pass around. That's not night vision CQB.
Nope.
We're not fucking doing that. I was like, when's the last time you shot? He's like, oh, we shot in April. It's December.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, when's the last time you sighted in? He's like, oh, we sighted in a couple years ago. He's like, it should be fine. Fuck.
No, man.
Nah,
You gotta
brother.
check the shit.
Brother, they're not fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have to shoot, and that's what we tell guys. Like, when we come out to do CQB, what you really want is to do flat range with CQB fundamentals on the flat range, because then when you spill it over to the house, you feel so much more fluid. You're like, oh, well, I can snap up this barrel wave, and I can do that, and I can, They make CQB much more fluid when you can move the weapons platform in time and space fluid.
Mm-hmm.
Waste being all choppy and herky-jerky. And you see it in the footwork, too. Like, they're very rigid. It's like,
I've seen them, yeah. So they got 2 left feet.
and it won't get better on one day. You need multiple days of training. You really got to push, not the boundaries of the flat range, but give yourself micro wins. Right? That's why we started that low ready presentation, 1.1.
Yeah.
Get super comfortable. Now get super comfortable where you can play around with where you're looking. Now it's a reduced A zone. Maybe it's an A zone, but it's off and to the left. Like, it's not in the dead center of the fucking cardboard. Just shift it. Make your eyes drive somewhere different. Start here and have to drive there. 15 degrees off center. Make it just a little more challenging. Same time frame. Now we're going to drop to the 1. We're going to get 10 in a row, 1 second presentations from the low ready. Now we're going to do 10 from the high ready. Boom, boom, boom. Perfect. We're going to go 0.8. 0.8. We got 0.8. 0.9. Let's go back to 0.8. Boom. 0.8. 0.8. 0.8. Let's try to get 5 in a row. Okay, let's go high ready. Same thing. Just building that comfortability. It's like, now the only limiting factor you have is how fast you manipulate the safety. It's like, now that thing is smooth. Now it's super fast. Now we can get dynamic. It's out of the shoulder pocket. It's fluid. Snap it up and present it. It's like, now stare right at the fucking target. Throw that thing up, safety finger fire. Boom. 0.4.
Yeah.
Like, now that's fucking fast, dude. Now that's fast. Like, you can't do that unless you rep it. It doesn't have to be fancy. Like, we want you to be super comfortable with that carbine, because at the moment of truth, like, we don't want you running there holding that magazine well looking like some fucking dumbass from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't want that. Like, I want everyone to pick up that carbine, immediately extend the buttstock, and like, yep, there we go. Like, don't be that dude running around looking like a fucking gorilla on a tricycle. We all seen him. It's
Yep.
like, oh man. Like, I don't want that. Yeah. I mean, to me, that's it. And it's not even the tactics. Like, people get into that shit all the time. Like, what method's better? The best method is that the whole team does the exact same thing, and you can read body language across the room.
Yeah.
Your tactics don't matter. Right? I'd say lighting conditions matter more than tactics. Because the shit I do at 100% dark is not the same thing I do at 100% light. It's not what I do at 50% light either. Yeah. Got to be able to bend light and control your surroundings. John wants to know, do you have much interaction with the guys at different squadrons at command? Do you pass them in the halls and get to know them? I'd say to a certain extent, you know every single one. At least by name and face. Like, it's so small. I mean, you can't talk about numbers, but I mean, it's very, very fucking small. So, I mean, you know everybody. Even, I mean, when you get up super senior, you might not know the new guys. But, I mean, it's very small. So, yeah, you know everybody. And you see them all. I mean, you'll be on, like, an opposite rotation, but there's a time where you know, you'll be there at the same amount of time. If you're on opposite schedules, like, every time, you're basically just backfilling each other on deployment. So there'll be 4-month gaps, 8-month gaps. You don't see people or whatever. But, yeah, for the most part, I mean, there's a time on there, like, there's not a single person inside the building with a trident on. You haven't heard their name. Like, if somebody's like, oh, you know so-and-so from this place. Like, no, but I mean, I know for a fact he's there.
Mm-hmm.
Or someone would be like, oh, I know so-and-so at this place, but that dude's not there. Like, oh, no, he's been there for 5 years. No, he fucking hasn't. I know that for a fact. No.
Yeah.
Because that would have put him in my time frame. I would know him. No. Like, you hear that shit all the time. Oh, so-and-so works over there. Do you still? Like, yeah.
I remember.
No. But.
Have you and Cole, you guys were on opposite schedule, I take it?
Yeah, we would, they would relieve us on deployment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it usually just both y'all's squadron, or the other colors are in there too?
No, I mean, so one squadron relieves the other. It's like one's doing training, one's on just different cycles.
Gotcha.
Just kind of cycle around. So, I mean, sometimes it sucks. You'll be on, like, the same kind of cycle for a while. So, like, if you deploy for Christmas, like, you'll probably get that Christmas cycle 2 cycles in a row until you pass by it. Sometimes it sucks. Kevin wants to know, how do you prove yourself and stand out the leadership as a new guy? Show up early, stay late. Be physically fit, look the part, act the part, be a pro. Be the first guy to volunteer. Take out the fucking trash. Don't be that kiss ass. Just be like Jared. Just be fucking moving. Just be making shit happen all day long, to where you never have to think, like, what the fuck's he doing? Like, I don't know what the fuck he's doing, but he's doing something productive. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. And really just, dude, I tell everybody, man, just watch some Kobe Bryant shit. Watch The Last Dance. Get motivated about the craft. And just, I feel like if you can fall in love with whatever that is, I don't care if it's making fucking hand soap, right? Like, if you love that, like, if you wake up every day and it's like, that is the only thing on my mind, and that one fucking thing, you naturally become really good at it. And when you become really good at it, it becomes natural, and you just seek out opportunities to better your craft, and people notice it. They're like, that dude really gives a shit.
Yeah.
To me, it was always kind of like the gym thing. Like, we roll through there, like, and I mean, it's like a shit talking point. You walk through, like, well, there's only one squadron in this fucking gym this early. It's like, you can see it. Okay? You go over to Fight Club and it's like, same 15 dudes are in here this early session. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, just be there. Be there, be trained, and be ready. Look the part. I think people appreciate it to a certain extent. I say it to SWAT team guys all the time. Like, you know, your handshake's the first representation of you, your personality, you know, your character, everything. Like, that one handshake's going to send everything. It's really your physical presence. Like, if that dude were to show up my house in full body armor with fucking helmet and tubes on as a SWAT team guy, would I think, oh, fuck yes, or oh my God?
Yep.
Right? Like, we saw it, Troy's a good example. Like VV SWAT.
Yep.
That dude looks exactly like a SWAT team dude, right? We were in Chipotle with me and my wife. And he came up and he said something. She's like, he a team guy? I was like, no, he's a SWAT team. She's like, really? She's like, I wouldn't have expected it. Why? And she goes, I don't know. I didn't think cops look like that. Motherfucker, that's how SWAT team dudes should look. And she's like, oh, cool. And then she sees guys now in Virginia Beach. They'll come over and like shoot the shit. And she's like, is he a SWAT team man? Yeah. Yeah, right? Like, look the part, act the part, be a fucking pro. And it motivates everybody else. It's like, at least that dude gives a shit. Because your physical presence matters, man. It matters on confidence of the people you're going to fucking save.
It definitely does, especially with that kind of occupation. You know, if you look like a soup sandwich,
belt all sloppy and shit, fucking mags falling out.
Yep.
Just looking like some clown, like, you don't want to be that.
No.
But yeah, I mean, look the part, man. It's the first thing you're going to see. I know people in the military like haircuts and shaves. Well, people in special operations hate that shit. Like, if you gave everybody in SF, everybody, freedom of movement, do whatever they want to, everybody grow long hair and a beard. Everybody. Because because they don't want to look like a constrained force. They want to look unconventional as absolute fuck.
Right.
Well, for the SWAT team guys, it's not necessarily the same. Like sometimes they want them clean shaven or whatever else. I think
Right.
a hybrid approach, but really, like, do you look the part? Horry County is a great example. Like,
Oh, dude.
when that team walks out, it's like, you boys play rugby or you guys do CQB,
Legit.
right? Like they look the fucking part, man.
Yep.
But I'll throw that at Danny. Like he's probably one of the main reasons. That dude's been on the team the longest, and he's in great fucking shape, dude.
Yeah.
Like he gives a fuck. And I think that give a fuck attitude really spills over. I had a guy when I was first retiring. I'm gonna blow myself here for like 15 seconds, and then I'll stop. But that was one of the coolest compliments I ever got. One of the guys I worked for right when I retired, we were teaching CQB. And he's like, you give a fuck more than anybody I've worked with. That's the nicest thing I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do. I do give a fuck. Like, I really care. And I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah.
Right?
That is refreshing, especially in that field or that occupation, because like me from the outside looking in and being privy to training, whether it's with GBRS or just in general being invited to places, and some guys look like they're just going through the motions, man. But actually caring and having passion, it's like, oh, this guy gives a fuck. Like, he really wants this done right versus,
Yeah.
all right, well, I'm just going to assess this threshold and mosey on down, and you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it
yeah.
really shows.
Yeah, you can tell the guys who care. You can tell
Yeah.
the guys who are training. Let's see this one. David wants to know, you ever catch a ride on one of those Swick boats? If so, how cool? I've been on those boats a fuck ton, dude. A bunch. They're not cool at all. They hurt, dude.
Yeah.
They fucking hurt, dude. Like those boat guys, like their lower backs and their knees and their necks are so fucked up. I bet you those guys get retired more than we do.
Shot.
Bro.
Yeah.
It's a crippler, man. I mean, I've seen dudes get fucked up. I mean, fucked up. I mean, some of those waves you're hitting, and the whole boat's coming out of the water. Rigid hold, you boom, and you're so tired. You've got all this shit on. You know, you're sitting there with the balancers on there, and you're holding on. And sometimes your knees give out. I've seen multiple people knock their teeth out.
No shit.
Yeah. Huge waves come down. Your night vision snap off. They hit you in the bridge of the nose. Now you're bleeding. It blows out your lip. I mean, I've seen that a bunch. I mean, they're bad, dude. Like those boats are not fun to ride on. The coxswains are impressive. The fact they drive in a team is super cool. You've got one guy doing the throttle, one guy doing the wheel. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty cool to watch that whole thing going. I mean, dudes talk shit about boat guys. It's like a rivalry thing, you know, just fucking make fun of each other. But they are fucking good at those boats, man. The brown water guys, like SBT, I think it's 22 out of Stennis. Yeah. Those dudes are fucking nasty, man. Like the riverine stuff, like that's old school Vietnam. Those guys are different. But the planning considerations the guys in blue water have to do, like our guys, like cruise ship takedown, stuff like that, it's such a logistical problem, and it's so jump heavy that they just have to be at a completely different, to me, it's very different. And I think they'd say it's very different too. Yeah, I mean, the boats are super cool, they're fast, they're fun. On super calm waters. But out in the rough seas, man, it's unforgiving, man. And some of the coldest I've ever been is in the back of those fucking boats. Just middle of the night, you don't even want to turn your nods on. Like the only dude who has his nods open is the wheel guy and the throttle guy. Everybody else is just. I mean, I remember getting back and my jaws hurt so bad, just from clenching my teeth. I thought I'd chip my teeth. Just fucking miserable. Yeah. Fucking boats, dude. Good times though.
Great.
Mildly Hot Ice Cream's got a question. What was the differences between the teams and the squadrons when you hit a DA target? Also, do you remember an op when you felt at your very best? Yeah. It's not even really... No, I shouldn't say that. It is very different. The people are the same. The experience level is different. Mm-hmm. The amount of assets is different. The mission planning is different. like it's more in depth. Contingency plans make more sense. They're more in, just everything's more in depth. Like there's more, instead of like, instead of the mission brief taking 3 minutes for action on, like just a slide in the deck. A team's going here, B team's going there, C team's on the roof. Next. This one's very different.
Mm-hmm.
This one's very thought specific, like why A is going here, why B is going there, why C is going here, if there's any contingencies, where they're going to go to still support, what A is expecting, what B is expecting, how they're going to deal with it if they find what, you know, what that thing is. Just a little more in tune. And then all the guys, I feel, have so much more patience. Just, not that they're in a rush to get in a gunfight in the teams, but like a lot of the guys have that nervous energy. I know I had it. It's like you're just itching to try to get something on, vice being thoughtful and methodical. Just nice and easy.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be about it. And when you did a DA target, I couldn't believe how quiet it was. It was eerie. I mean, fucking scary, dude. Like I remember being on several targets, creeping around and just like in the middle of the flow, just taking the moment, like realize what the fuck is happening right now.
Right.
This is a straight up fucking orchestra. Just, it's gorgeous. Like just, it's so fucking smooth, all of it. Like nothing is getting dropped. It's like the barrel waves are perfectly timed. People are conscious about dragging feet. They're not kicking over pots. Like every step is calculated and put in a specific reason with a specific goal in mind. It's just, it's a beautiful thing to watch. I remember multiple times just like, motherfucker, man. God, that's good to watch. And just highlighting those moments, so in training, trying to recreate it.
Mm.
And trying to put out that same amount of energy, the same ocular cues and vocal cues, the physical touch, all of it. Like I'm going to try to make this rep in Virginia Beach so fucking realistic that everybody in the train goes, here in the back of your neck stands up and you're like, yep, we are sunk into this fucking matrix, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I see plenty of times where I just like ride on the helo back or doing whatever else, just, I can't believe I get paid to do this. Fuck.
Oh, I bet.
Like, I'd do this fucker for free. Like, if this is a membership, shit. Visa and MasterCard, I'd just be swiping. Like, if being a Navy SEAL was a strip club, dude, I'd be fucking flat broke. I would just hemorrhage money into it.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, fucking great, dude. It's awesome.
How unrealistic, like, how surreal is it that you can get so quiet with bad guys in a room? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're really sneaking in there, fucking ninjas.
Mm-hmm. It's what I imagine crawling on all fours into a fucking cave with a bear hibernating.
Yeah.
It's like that.
You're standing there.
Yep. It's like you have to be super accountable. I mean, the
Right.
way you breathe, everything.
Can't be a mouth breather.
You know, some people, when they breathe out their nose, they do a nose whistle.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be mindful of nose whistling.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you have to. Like, that's a human right there.
Mm-hmm.
Like how many times you ever woke up in the middle of the night and your wife's got up to go to the bathroom?
Yep.
She ain't making a lot of noise. Just enough.
Just enough for you, like, oh.
That's all it takes. Just a rollover. And it's like the whole party's changed.
Yep.
The whole thing is different now. Well, how do you avoid that? Be accountable. Be a fucking pro. Like, get that fucking rock out of your shoe. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, that was one of the first things I noticed, like, at set point, like, watching dudes pull rocks out of their shoes. Oh, these fucking dudes are on a different level.
They know.
Okay, here we go. Yep. Popping little tiny rocks out of them. Yep, I won't make this mistake again.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Like, we ain't stomping around in fucking a solo boots right now. No.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we are creeping. And it was cool because it gave you a look that most people never see. Because most people are super fucking loud. And if you
Yeah.
would have hit that target, like we did in 2007, we would have gotten into a massive gunfight. They would have been throwing fucking grenades and clacking off S-vests. They just would have fucking, it's a 50-50 then. Vice, if we get in, it's so much safer. And it's like, not that we don't want to kill bad guys, but a lot of these times, like, there's not even an opportunity to. Like, we wrap them all up, and then we go in the next room and you find where they hid all their guns. Well, if we would have blown in the front door, they would have went and grabbed them.
Yep.
Well, it's like these guys are smart after a while. They're not sleeping with guns. And as much as people just want to kill everybody, that's not the reality. You just can't kill everybody. And some of these dudes aren't bad. You can't just walk in and shoot everybody. You got to be very calculated. But that's a superpower very few people will ever possess. It's like to be able to drop up and in and walk through all these fucking people and not wake them up. That's cool.
It's just, it's amazing to think that, you guys have done it while in full kit. Things are rattling. I know you try to tape it for sound mitigation, and just to be able to do something like that, have that capability.
Oh,
You know.
I mean, you get to see some pro level moves. One, so extending ladder.
Yeah.
Extend it up, 12 feet tall, brick wall, metal gates. You want to mess with it because it's real loud. Ding, 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 ding. A soft ladder over the top, and now we're going to climb down into this fucking thing. So you think about that ladder on the side of a brick wall scraping.
Yep.
But for dudes to reverse a bag, pull off a pouch, and stick it in between.
Yep.
Like, everything goes to, like, hand signals. It's weird, man.
It's cool.
It's like now the gun is slung, now they're lowering themselves down. Just nice, slow, calm. Yeah, dude. It was some boss level shit for sure. When you see it, you're like, we didn't even talk about that. It's what they did naturally. It's cool to see. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Aaron wants to know, more budget pistols and rifles, or one or two quality for a pistol and a rifle? I'd say one or two, man.
Yep.
Like, I'm not into picking up a bunch of dollar store ARs. So
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, I tell it to Cole, like, Cole's a gun hoarder. You can look at his box one day and then look at mine.
Yep.
Half that stuff in there, I have it just because I don't want to put it in the vault. Nah, man. 2 pistols, 2 carbines, I'd be fine. But I don't need a whole bunch of stuff. I don't like shooting a wide, not that I don't like shooting a wide variety. I like testing everything, but once I find something I like, I just like going to that. Like, we were talking about staccato.
Yeah.
Like, we got a bunch of staccatos. They're fucking badass guns, dude, and they are hammers. I don't shoot them as good as I do, like, an X5. I mean, it shoots great, just the ergonomics, just a little bit outside of my scope, and I don't like taking my support hand and sitting at slide home. I just don't. If I can get around that, as small as that is, it's one more workaround I have to add in a step that I don't have to normally, and I can pick and choose what I shoot. Like, that staccato's fucking nasty, man.
It is.
I tell everybody else, like, you're 30% better just by opening the fucking box. Just buy the gun, open the box, you're already better, right? Cold War bill drill it and just watch your eyes. Yeah, they're impressive, dude. What are your thoughts on the war in Ukraine and the thoughts of technology being used? You can watch battles unfold and drone footage of grenades dropping on people, all on Facebook. Crazy times we're living in.
Yeah.
Fucking ain't right, man.
Yeah.
Me and Cole talk about it, like, it's just a very hard thing to prep for, man. Just because you can go to Radio Shack and just get it. You got to get really creative now, and unfortunately, I think that's a lot of the shit they're going to be into for a while. Is that kind of stuff, and it doesn't limit your options, but it really puts you in a technological chokehold because you're going to try to evolve your technology even higher and higher, and that's just going to push the pace for them to try to counter it.
Yep.
Vice, if somehow you could go back to the Stone Age No Wi-Fi, no LTE, no drones.
Mm-hmm.
Like just on the ground sending it, you'd do so much better. You just would. But I agree, it's definitely crazy to watch it on Facebook and
Yeah.
see some of these drone
So
videos.
prevalent, like on Instagram especially. Yeah.
And I think you guys are seeing, I don't want to say similar to World War One, but kind of like that trench warfare.
Oh, dude.
That's the shit they were doing, man.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts, dude. I mean, you're 6 feet away, full send.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't nothing sexy about that. And I think a
No,
lot
sir.
of the dudes, I mean, I hope a lot of the people who they sit back and they judge the military, or they judge some shit they've never done, or they judge cops that are getting in altercations or gunfights, like, oh, I would have done. I'll log in on Facebook and see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's a dude who looks just like you shooting a belt fed at you from 6 feet away. Tell me what you do.
Yep.
Like, really put yourself there. Like, really think about it. Think about the sound, the smell, the humidity. Think about the rounds impacting the fucking dirt. It's kicking up in your face. Think about all the ancillary details, and then tell me how fucking tough you are. Like, that's a nasty place to be, man.
So when I see these videos, the one with the Russian in a, you know, in the trenches, or even like when you see drone videos dropping grenades, like dudes just in a foxhole, three of them having lunch, and they just drop a grenade. It's like, I look at it and it's like, man, if I was there, that's a feeling of hopelessness. Like, all right, it's
You're
like
fucked,
any second, it's gonna be my last.
Right?
Right?
Dude, I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah.
I,
This warfare is, it's different, you know, like insane.
fuck.
Saw a heartbreaking one last night. It was a Russian dude who came across a Ukrainian guy, soldier that's dead. And I don't know. Anyways, he's like patting him down, this dead guy. Seems like he's been dead for a minute. And pulls out a piece of paper from inside his dead guy's breast pocket. Opens it up, and it's a drawing of his kid. Like, his kid must have drawn it. He looks at it because he's got his helmet camera. He like folds it, puts it back in the dude's pocket, and like covers the dude's face. You watch that, you know, like someone me, I'm not in the military or anyone in general, and they, you know, they criticize, and yeah, we want to see train wrecks, you know, but like moments like that, it's like it really humanizes people on both ends.
Yeah, dude.
Whether you're pro-Ukrainian or pro-Russian, it doesn't matter. Like, that was sad, dude. Like, I was like, damn.
Yeah. It is sad, dude. And I find it hard to believe that all those dudes from Russia really want to be over there doing that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to fucking do that, man.
Nope.
They don't. Think about how many people have families just across the border.
Mm-hmm.
Like, now what?
Yep.
Oh, shit. I feel bad, man. It's not where you want to be. It's not where they want to be.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that shit ends quick. But I also don't want to get involved.
100%.
Like, I don't. Sometimes I wish Trump was the president.
Yeah.
I don't think they would be invading the Ukraine.
Yep.
I don't think they would. I know that's easy to say right now. My fucking ivory tower and shit. But
Yeah.
I don't feel like they would. But it sucks.
It does. It's just not easy.
No. This guy wants to know a story about Nick Cheque. Did I ever tell you about him retiling my house?
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that.
Did we talk about it on here?
I think you did.
So it was
Yeah.
It was 2009. I was in Iraq, and he was getting ready to go to Afghanistan. His first rotation was the squadron, and him and my wife were hanging out one night. They're having dinner, some shit, and she's talking about she wants to redo the kitchen tile. And that dude's drinking a margarita, and he's like, "Oh, I can fucking do that." She's like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." Googling how to fucking do it. Kitchen floor. He said he called his brother-in-law or some shit to get some advice, but he didn't know what the fuck he was doing. He'd never done that. They went to Home Depot, picked out some tile, picked out the grout, and just ripped up my kitchen floor one day and started knocking it out. Well, he's got to leave on like a Thursday. Well, these motherfuckers started doing this like the weekend
That's right.
before. It takes them the whole, because anybody who's ever deployed, it's not like you have those 2 weeks off. Like you're in there packing out gear, you're doing all this shit. There's a bunch of admin paperwork you got to do. You got to check out guns, everything, and you've got to load it all out. Well, Nick was over there fucking my house the entire time, so all his shit is kind of getting left undone. Well, the issue is they don't wait for anybody. So this fucking dude stayed there and finished tiling my entire house. He actually called over another team guy to finish like the last 10 feet of it. Up until an hour before he was flying out. Left my house, drove straight to work, changed his t-shirt, got on the plane and flew out. His shoes were ruined. They were covered in tile, fucking debris and all that.
Yeah.
And then he wore these black pair of Etney skateboard shoes. And my wife was trying to find them. She called me and she's like, I can't find these shoes anywhere. And I was like, what size is it? She's like, I got to go over to his house and check. Because I told her what brand they were. And she goes over there and grabs a pair of his shoes and she goes, DJ, he wears a size 7. I'm like,
Wait, he does.
I used to call
Tiny
him,
ass.
I used to call him Tiny Dancer. these little baby feet. These little baby feet, these little baby hands. They saved it all for his penis though. Yeah. Nick was funny, man. We his cage was a couple down from mine, and we all have red man flags hanging in front of our cage. It's like a privacy thing, but I mean, you can see through it. And I'm walking past his cage, and it's on the right hand side, and I hear, hey. Hey. I look over, and you see the red man flag getting pulled up and up and up, and it's a traditional cage. And it gets up about this high, and a big dick pops out of it. And the red man flag is hanging on. He goes, meat gazer, and shakes the flag. I'm like, God damn it. Smack it to keep fucking walking. Oh, God, I love him. Such a funny fuck. Yeah, he was great.
It's funny.
All right, you want to end it there? We'll swap.
Yeah, let's close off.
All right. Yeah, we'll call that.
All right.
All right.